Okay, to kick things off today, I want to try something a little different. A quick visualization exercise, if you're up for it.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so maybe close your eyes for a second. In your left hand, I want you to picture a barbecue grill grate, the kind heavy steel, probably a little greasy.
Got it. Yeah. Smells like charcoal.
And in your right hand, picture a pristine, delicate glass aquarium. It's filled with crystal clear water, maybe some expensive, rare tropical fish.
Okay. I'm already getting nervous about where this is going.
Yeah.
Holding both of those things.
Exactly. You've got this rigid industrial steel in one hand and this fragile glass and life in the other. Would you ever, in a million years, think to combine those two?
No, absolutely not. It feels like a recipe for disaster. It's just cognitive dissonance right there.
But that is exactly where we are starting today. We're looking at a source that takes that dissonance and resolves it into something, well, something arguably brilliant.
I'm intrigued.
We are diving into a blog post from a site called qianmeng.org. The post is titled Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 187, Repurpose Barbecue Grill Grate as Mesh Aquarium Lid.
Part 187. Wow. The title alone tells you you're dealing with someone who's deep in the weeds on this.
Right. And what really sets the stage, I think, is the blog's subtitle. It describes itself as the musings of an old software plumber.
A software plumber. I love that. It's not a guru or an architect or a ninja.
No.
It's a plumber.
Yeah.
Someone who fixes things and makes sure the data flows. And that's really our mission for this deep dive. We're not just talking about a neat trick for your fish tank.
Right.
We're using this specific hack to explore a mindset. How does looking at the world through the eyes of a software plumber lead to these ingenious low-tech solutions for high-stress biological problems?
So let's get into the discovery. The author, Qian Meng, he didn't just wake up one day and decide to raid his grill, did he?
No, and the context is really important here. He says he was out scouting for new species for his outdoor ponds.
And he puts outdoor ponds, in quotes, in the text. I noticed that.
Yeah, which suggests these aren't just, little decorative koi ponds. These are probably functional systems. Tubs, vats, breeding setups. So he's at a breeder or a specialized shop.
And he's looking at the tanks.
He's looking at the tanks, and he notices the lids are different. They're not the standard glass tops or those flimsy plastic hoods.
What are they?
Repurposed barbecue grill grates. But, and this is the detail that makes it all work, it wasn't just a flat rack sitting on top. He points out a specific feature.
The bent edge.
The bent edge, exactly.
Why is that so critical?
Well, think about it. If you just put a flat piece of mesh on a glass box, what happens?
It slides right off. You bump it, a cat jumps on it. Disaster.
Right. A sliding lid is barely a lid at all. But this grate had a pre-manufactured bend. On a BBQ, that bend probably fits into a groove to keep it stable. But on a fish tank,
It acts like a lip. It hugs the rim of the tank.
it becomes a fitted lid.
Yeah.
With no modification.
That is such a classic why didn't I think of that moment. It just transforms the object instantly.
It's the core of upcycling, but with an engineer's eye. Most of us see labels. Grill. A tinkerer or a software plumber sees properties. Rigid steel mesh with a structural locking mechanism. The label doesn't matter.
Okay, but let's back up. Why do you even need a lid this heavy duty? I mean, besides keeping the cat out, the source goes into quite a bit of detail on this.
Yeah, and this is where we get into a bit of fish psychology. The main problem this lid solves is containment. It stops fish from jumping into the tank.
And they don't just jump for fun.
No, it's a stress response.
Yeah.
The author points to the context of, like, a retail shop or a new environment. He lists three main stressors. The first one is traffic.
Just people walking by.
Exactly. Giant shapes. Us, constantly moving past the glass, casting shadows. To a fish, a shadow from above means a predator, a bird.
So it triggers a flight response.
Constantly. They're always on edge. Then you have relocation stress. These fish often come from quiet, muddy farm ponds. Suddenly they're netted, bagged, and dumped into a bright, clear glass box. It's sensory overload.
It sounds awful, actually, like being abducted by aliens.
It kind of is. And the third factor he mentions is water quality. If the water parameters, the pH, ammonia get bad, a fish's instinct isn't to wait it out, it's to migrate.
To find better water.
Right. But in a glass box, migrate just means swimming up and jumping out. So you combine all that, the traffic, the shock, the instinct to flee bad water, and you get fish projectiles.
So this BBQ grate, it isn't just a barrier, it's a stress management tool, a hard boundary for an animal in flight mode.
Precisely. But here's where the argument gets really clever. because you could say, fine, I need a lid. I'll just use the glass one that came with my tank.
Yeah, that's the default, right? It's what everyone uses.
But the software plumber argues that the BBQ grate is functionally superior, and he breaks it down into physics and biology.
Okay, let's walk through that. The first advantage is air.
Maximum ventilation. This is huge. In an aquarium, you need gas exchange at the surface. Oxygen goes in, CO2 comes out.
And a solid glass lid basically seals that off.
It stifles it. It traps a pocket of humid, CO2-rich air right above the water. The mesh grate lets the whole system breathe. It maximizes that oxygen transfer, which makes the water healthier, which in turn reduces the stress we just talked about.
It's a feedback loop. Okay, and what about heat? He mentions heat dissipation.
Yes. Remember, these are tropical fish. The tanks have heaters, but also pumps, powerful lights. A glass lid acts like a greenhouse roof. It traps all that heat.
You're basically slow cooking your fish.
Or at least causing temperature spikes that stress them out. The mesh just lets that heat escape naturally. It's a passive cooling system. No fans, no electricity, just physics.
So better oxygen, stable temperature. But the point that really got me as a former tank owner was about light and cleaning.
Ah, yes, the unsightly hard water stains.
It is the absolute bane of every fish keeper's existence. The tank looks perfect, and 3 days later, the lid looks like a dirty shower door.
It's a universal pain point. Water splashes up, condensation forms, the water evaporates, and it leaves behind all the minerals, this crusty white residue.
And it looks awful. It makes everything look neglected.
And functionally, it blocks the light. Your expensive light is trying to get through a layer of crust. It's bad for the plants, bad for visibility.
So enter the BBQ grate.
Problem eliminated. He notes that with a mesh, there's no surface for the crust to form on. Water splashes through and falls back in, or it just evaporates into the room.
It's a self-cleaning system.
It's an efficiency hack. And this is where I want to bring it back to the author Enkia Meng, because this obsession with low maintenance, high airflow, systems that run themselves, that's his professional identity.
The software plumber. We looked at the sidebar on his blog, and plumber feels like an understatement.
It's a classic portrait of a polymath tinkerer. I mean, it's part 187 of his Fishkeeping notes, the dedication alone. And the archives go back to at least 2011.
He's been documenting everything for over a decade.
Right. But look at the tags he uses for his professional notes. Elixir, Erlang, Python, Rust.
Those are some heavy-hitting programming languages.
They are. Erlang and Elixir are famous for building massive, fault-tolerant systems. Think telecom networks, banking, WhatsApp, systems that absolutely cannot crash.
So the person who designs systems that can't crash all day is applying that same logic to his fish tank.
Exactly. In software, you hunt for a single point of failure. A glass lid is a point of failure. It traps heat, blocks gas, gets dirty. It requires constant human intervention.
And if a system needs constant intervention, it's a bad system.
It's a bad system. The BBQ grade is a patch. It removes those failure points. It makes the system robust. It's industrial grade.
And I saw his other interests listed too. Gardening, photography, but also support for the EFF and the FSF.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation and the Free Software Foundation. Those are activist groups for digital rights and open source software.
And the whole philosophy of open source is that code should be transparent. You can see it, tinker with it, improve it, and share your improvements.
Which is exactly what this blog post is.
It is.
This is open source hardware for fish keepers. He saw an inefficient proprietary problem commercial lids, and he released a patch to the community. Use a BBQ grate.
That connection really clicks for me. It's about not accepting the default configuration of the world.
Yes, and it's about sharing the knowledge. If he hadn't written this down, someone else would be scrubbing line scale off a glass lid right now, totally frustrated.
It gives the advice so much more weight, doesn't it? This isn't just some random tip. This is from a guy who has been running complex systems for decades saying, this works.
It's empirical data. And going back to that bin edge for a second, that's a perfect example of what engineers call resource selection. When you code, you don't write everything from scratch. You find existing libraries that already do 90% of what you need.
Right. Don't reinvent the wheel.
And could have bought flat mesh. But then he'd have to cut it, build a frame, find clips. He'd have to build the library himself.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. Instead, he found an object that had the feature he needed, the lip already built in. He let the grill manufacturer do the hard work for him.
That's efficient. Lazy in the best possible way.
The most productive way.
I do have to ask about the look, though. I mean, it's a BBQ grate on a fish tank. It's a very specific aesthetic.
It is not the Apple Store aesthetic, no. It's brutally functional.
No.
It's an engineer's aesthetic. The beauty is in the function. It works better, therefore it is beautiful.
Which fits the old software plumber persona perfectly. It doesn't need to be pretty code. It just needs to run without bugs.
Exactly. A crashing server is ugly. A dead fish on the floor is ugly. This grate prevents the crash. To him, that's beautiful.
And given that he mentions outdoor ponds, he's probably not dealing with just 1 or 2 tanks.
Scalability. If you have 50 tanks, you can't spend an hour cleaning each lid every weekend. You need a solution that scales. Steel is forever. It's infrastructure.
That's the real shift. Thinking of an aquarium not as furniture, but as infrastructure for life.
That's the whole insight. We started with a funny image, but we've ended up talking about reliability, open source philosophy, and systems thinking.
It really does change how you look at the random stuff in your garage.
It should. It invites you to look at everything as a set of properties, not a set of labels.
So, let's bring it all home. We start with the object. A standard BBQ grill grate with that crucial bent edge.
Check. Widely available, nearly indestructible.
It solves the safety issue, keeping stressed out fish inside the tank.
Check. The firewall for the biological system.
It solves the physics problems, gas exchange, heat dissipation.
Yep. Better performance.
It allows full light penetration.
Check. No crust.
And it completely eliminates the maintenance headache of hard water stains.
Check. Low maintenance, high efficiency.
It's a clean sweep. Honestly, the functional arguments are just overwhelming.
It is. And it's a great reminder that the best solutions often come from somewhere completely different. The solution to his aquarium problem was in the camping aisle, not the pet aisle.
The solution to a coding problem might be in a gardening book.
Cross-pollination. That's where innovation happens.
And documenting it. That's the other lesson here, part 187.
Write it down. Share the hack. The open source mindset shouldn't stop at your keyboard.
That's a really good point. So here's a challenge for you, the listener. A little scouting mission in your own home.
Oh, I like this. Practical homework.
Look in your garage. Or that junk drawer in the kitchen, you know the one? With the rubber bands and loose batteries.
The drawer of broken dreams and potential energy. We all have one.
What object is gathering dust in there that could be the perfect patch for a totally unrelated problem in your life? What is your BBQ grate aquarium lid?
It requires you to stop looking at the label on the thing and start looking at what the thing is. Is it a hook? A weight? A spacer?
Think about it. And if you find one, maybe write a blog post. You might just help a software plumber somewhere down the line.
Or a fish.
Or a fish. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Ideally, while staying inside the tank.
Exactly. See you next time.